All right, hello everybody, come on in. Let me go ahead and take that off for just a second. Hello everybody, welcome to the webinar. Sorry it took me just a few moments, a little longer than usual to get on, so I apologize for being just a moment late. I have some amazing in-laws. They're here in town, they're visiting, they're staying in our house, and they had to leave right when I was about to start. So I wanted to come in and say hi first. I want to say goodbye to them actually first real quick and then come and get started. So welcome, come on in. And if you guys look on the right-hand side of your screen, there's a little chat window. You can go ahead and start chatting if you have questions. When I start this webinar, I will not be able to see the chat window. So all questions you have, I will, once I am done, I will come back to this right here and I'll go through your questions and see if there's anything I might have missed. But I'm very excited to share this with you guys. I mean, honestly, and I'll tell you the truth, is the truth of the reason why I wanted to share this webinar with you guys was because, see, I worked for 7 years with a large corporation. And during those 7 years, I was promoted 5 times. I was the staple of what you want to achieve when it comes to working for a large corporation. I was growing very fast. But very harsh truths started to become known to me, very harsh realities that changed the way I started doing things. And so today, I'm going to be talking about some of those realities, all right? So if you're here right now and you can hear me okay, I'm really hoping the internet's good and no problems. Just go ahead and type in the little chat window. I'm going to go ahead and type something in right now. So just to see if you guys can see me, I'm going to go ahead and I'm typing that in the chat right now. So hopefully you guys can see and hear me okay. And then as soon as I get a confirmation from at least a couple of you guys that you can see and hear me, I will get started. So Linda says, sounds fine. Awesome. You know what, Linda? It's good enough for me. We got one person. Looks like someone's raising their hand. I'm guessing there's a request. Jody is requesting. Okay, no. Leilani says, hey, Eddie. Hey, Leilani. Liz says, can hear you fine and see you. Awesome. All right. So let's get started. You guys ready? Okay, so the first thing I want to do is pull up my PowerPoint. And I'm hoping you guys, yeah, you guys should be able to see that. And like I said, once I kind of get started with this, I will not be able to see you. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hit a button here that'll enlarge this so you'll be able to see all writing and so on. And once I enlarge this, I'm gonna come back to the way it looks, and I wanna just double check, can you guys see it? So once I hit play on this thing, there we go. All right, so at this point right now, this little picture of this guy holding 2 buckets right here should be really large on your screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to go back to the chat room. And what I want to know and make sure that in the chat room, can you see this picture of this guy holding buckets, but very large in your screen? All right, so I'm going to go back now. Oh, hi, Donna. It's good to see you. Scott, sounds great. Thanks, brother. Okay, so did it get really large on your screen? Did you guys notice a difference when I hit the play? Just want to make sure that this looks fabulous. This is going to be a really fun, this is a really awesome presentation that I love a lot. So Jody says no, Leilani said no. It didn't get larger. No, okay, all right. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it again. Let's see. The picture went away actually, and the Google icon came up, okay? All right, this is why I double check these things. So cool, okay. Give me just a second, let me try again. So when you hit play, got the Google screen. Okay, let us try this. Okay, that is not the right answer. Okay, that was creepy. All right, let's try that again. Okay, all right. Super professional, Eddie. Way to go. All right. So, I might just do this simple like this, but I want you guys to be able to see, because there's going to be some numbers on the screen, and I want you guys to be able to read them. So let's try one more different way, and then if this doesn't work, then I'll just go to backup plan, plan B. Okay, here we go. So, oh, that's not it either. That's not how it works, guys. Whenever you want to do something, you gotta kind of make some mistakes first. Okay, here we go. Last try. All right, so you should see the PowerPoint, and you should see like some things on the side. So if you guys can just kind of walk me through this real quick. On the left-hand side, you should see a lot of PowerPoint kind of pages showing up on the left-hand side. And then right in the middle, you should see a guy holding buckets. Do you guys see that? And don't you worry, this presentation is about 30 minutes. So we're going to be in and out in the same time. I'll say, okay, so Jody, everyone says, yep, okay. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to hit play to try and fill the screen so we can get this larger. All right, let's see if this worked this time. All right, so there you go. I just hit play. And I'm hoping this works and you guys can see this, because this whole entire thing is predicated on being able to see the screen. This is a visual presentation, all right? So I'm gonna give it just a few more seconds. And I'm gonna now hit escape on his thing. Now I'm going back to the same screen share that I had a moment ago. And no, we're seeing Google icons. Fascinating, okay. Okay, all right, so since we're seeing Google icons, but you know what, I wonder. Okay, give me just a second, guys. All right, we see your upcoming slides in the Buckets Guide. Okay, all right, so we're gonna do, I really want you guys to see this. This is way cool. Try something and see if there's a different option here. All right, I'm gonna do something kind of weird, so bear with me. Let's see if this works. All right, here we go. Tell me if you can, let's see if this works. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that. Okay. Okay, so now I just did that, something different. It should be, you should see, hopefully, the entire screen. You should see the guy holding the buckets, and that's all. There shouldn't be anything on the left-hand side or the right-hand side or anything like that. And let's see if that worked. Okay, so I'm now gonna go back and double check with the chat room and see if you guys got the same thing I'm saying. Everyone said yes. Awesome, okay, all right. This part looks bizarre, okay. Bigger yes, but not the entire screen or upcoming sites. Good, that's perfect. All right, let's get started then. Welcome. Okay, guys, we're going to be talking about the American dream here. All right, so welcome. Thanks very much for coming. My name is Eddie Villa. You can find me on numerous platforms. One of my favorites is, of course, Facebook and Periscope. So lots of you guys here are here because you've seen me on Periscope or you've heard me talk about my story when it comes to working for a large company and then what happened after 7 years at that company and being promoted 5 times. So I'm going to talk about that a little later, but first, some fun little stories. And this is one of the first stories. I love this story. I've heard this story dozens and dozens of times, and every time I hear it, it just reminds me of why I do what I do. So here we go. So this is a story about this amazing man who who lives in a village, who decided he wanted to make some money to go into business for himself with water. All right. So here's kind of how it works. So basically one day there was a man who lived in a village and he saw that his village, they needed water, bottom line. And so since he saw there was a need and there was a local stream nearby, he filled up a couple buckets, hitched them to a yoke, and he would carry them back to the town and he would fill glasses of water for people and he would sell the water. And this guy was in high demand because everybody wanted the water. So he just figured, all right, well, the cool thing is that every time I put water in here, it uses it up. And people are buying. So all I have to do is make more trips. And this guy's, yeah. This is a friend of his who noticed. He's like, I like this. You know, people obviously need water. So if I can just haul more buckets, I can make more money. But this guy here got a different idea. He was like, you know, I want to do this too. So he starts hauling buckets as well. And he figures, well, if I can make some money doing that, that'd be great. But then one day he decides, all right, well, I'm going to start doing this part-time. On part-time, I'll haul buckets. And the other part-time, I'm going to create a pipeline. Okay, so this pipeline, he's figuring, all right, well, part-time, I'll do my job. I'll fill enough buckets to pay my bills. And then the rest of the time, I'll be creating a pipeline. And now creating a pipeline, had a lot of problems. There was a lot of things that he had to learn. But ultimately, it was something that he was looking for that was going to make a big difference in his income. And so he would work and he would work. And, and he'd getting rid of obstacles, things out of his way. And ultimately, what we're talking about here is when he came to the point where he was able to hook up this pipeline to a spigot, turn on that spigot, and one day out came fresh, clean water. Not just water, but higher quality water, because it was moving faster through the pipeline. And then no longer at this point, he quit his job hauling buckets and just provided the people in his village better water. And he also created not just a pipeline of water, but also a financial pipeline. There's a huge difference, all right? So what we're going to be talking about here today is the difference between hauling buckets and creating a pipeline, okay? That's pretty cool. So that's a fun little story. Now let's just talk about how money is made in America, okay? How is money made in America? This is all through Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And so this is not going to be new for some of you guys, but we're just going to kind of cover it because it's relevant to the message, the entire message. So the first way to make money in this world, in this country, is by being an employee, right? You go work for a large company, large corporation, or anybody. You just go work for someone and you have a job. And your job is to do something and then you get compensated for it. It's very simple. The second way to make money is to be self-employed, where you own a job, right? So like, for example, if you want to be a coach or a personal trainer, or if you have your own business that requires you to work, then you own that job. All right, that's another way to make money. Third way to make money is to be a business owner. Okay, so a business owner is someone who owns a business that other people do. They like, for example, a great example would be like McDonald's, right? The owner of the McDonald's, he's never in there flipping burgers. He hires some kid or somebody else to actually do all the work for him, in which case he gets to hang out on a beach somewhere while the checks come in. It's very simple. And then the last type is to be an investor, where you take money that you've earned from, let's say, from being a business owner, for example, and you just kind of set it out into the world, all right? And then after you send it out in the world, it comes back and it's made babies, basically, right? It comes back in the form of interest. And this is what we would call typically a residual income, okay? So these are the only 4 ways to make money in this country. So let's talk about the thing that I was told about when I was a kid, which is the American dream, right? The American dream is simply this. At some point, everybody is born. Okay, that's one thing I can say that I know about every one of you here, is that you were born at some point, and then at some point you graduated from school, whether you finished high school or you finished college or you finished that master's degree or whatever. At some point you graduate education and then you go to work, okay? And then at some point your goal would be to, let's say after about 40 years roughly, your goal would be at around the age of 65 to retire. Okay, so after your 40 years of work, you retire at about the age of 65, where most people say they want to retire. And then somewhere around 80, you die. Okay, that's one thing we can't all prevent. And we're really just guessing here. These aren't actual numbers. Some people die younger, of course. No, don't be silly, but that's the whole point, right? At some point, we die. All right, and so the point is that once we retire, what we have is this time period here around 10 to 15 years, which is called, which is typically called like the golden years, right? It's what everyone calls this time. It's a time where you're no longer having to work for anybody anymore, and you're just going to enjoy your life until you die. All right, so the plan is, with this 40-year plan, is to work our lives to put money away into our retirement savings. right? So we set aside a little bit here and a little bit there into this bucket, and we just dip and put money into this bucket that's going to allow us to retire someday. So what I want you guys to do is take out your calculators if you've got them. All right, we're going to be doing some math today. Now, the cool thing is I love numbers because numbers, there's stories in numbers, okay? So we're going to do some math. And then how it works like this is you want to think about three things. Number one, when will you retire? Okay, so you want to write that down. When do I plan to retire? Number two, how much money do you currently have set up for when you retire? And number three, how much money will you need? So basically, we need to know how much more will we need compared to what you have put away right now. All right? So we're going to find that out. So let's think about it. Most people, when you ask the average person, how much money do you want? They will typically say about $4,500 a month. Now, we're not talking about living a lavish lifestyle. We're really just talking about to survive, okay? And again, this is just an estimation based on what the average person will say. About $4,500 a month, what most people would like when they retire to have, all right? Not a whole lot you can do with it, but you know what? At least you don't have to work for anybody, right? And that's the nice thing. So there's your $4,500 a month. So what we want to do is, of course, we want it every month. So $4,500 a month times 12 months equals $54,000. Okay? Pretty simple. So basically $54,000. Now the problem is though, I mean, I should gotta say this, is we don't really know how long we're going to live. So if we've got money in the bank, we can't live off of that money. We need that money to generate an interest for us. We need that money to make money for us because, like I said, you never know. What if you retire at 65 and you end up living to 105, right? Do you really want to be dependent on anybody? Do you really want to be working? You know what I mean? What you want is money in the bank to make money for you. So how we figure out how much money we're going to need to generate this $54,000 or $4,500 a month is we divide it by interest. An interest rate. Now, if you've got large amounts of money and you put it in things like money markets or CDs, things like that, right now you're going to get about, I mean, honestly, if you're lucky, but for the sake of argument, about 5%, okay? If you just put money in the savings account, you'll be lucky if you get 1%. But for the sake of argument, we're going to go with 5%. So this is going to tell you how much money you need to have in the bank, all right, in CDs and so on, when you retire that you can actually take out. All right, so this will tell you. So how you figure it out, 54,000 divided by 0.05, that comes out to $1,080,000. Okay? I'm gonna let that sink in for just a minute. You have to have $1,080,000 in your bank account in order to have a $4,500 residual check every month, well, it's technically every year, but coming into your hands that you'll be able to use. Because you can't live on that $1,080,000 because, like I said, you don't know how long you're going to live. I want your mind to seek into the reality of this. This is the truth. Okay, we can't rely on winning the lottery. We have to be practical. Okay, so $1,080,000. That's how much money we have to have in the bank. So we have to have an asset worth $1,080,000 generating a $4,500 a month check, okay? So let's get into the statistics. Let's get real here. The average person, the average American, spends about $1.22 on every dollar that we earn. So that creates a 22-cent deficit. At the age of 50, the average person at the age of 50 has about $42,000. So yeah, we're a little short. We're a little short. I want you guys to start thinking about people that you know that are the age 50 or and above. How many of them, and not all of them, because this is not going to be true for everybody, but how many of them still have to rework, still have to work? I mean, let's be honest. How many of them at the age of 50 or even at the age 65? So we're a little short. Now here's a staggering statistic. Of those 50%, of those 50-year-olds, 75% of them have less than $5,000 saved. Shocking amount. So this 40-year plan, we have to ask ourselves, what's really happening? Well, 98% of these people that are given into this 40-year plan, they're still dependent on Social Security, which I just had a conversation with somebody I know who could actually qualify for Social Security, who's worked his entire life, and his Social Security check is about $1,800 a month. And he's considering not taking it and waiting a few more years in the hope that it gets higher. Okay? So that's the reality. 98% of them are living off of Social Security. They're living off of family, charity, or they're still working. And my favorite people on the planet are the ones that when you go into Walmart and they greet you at the door. They're wonderful people. I love them to death because they're choosing to do something about it. I love them, but that's where they are. So who is this plan working for? Well, look at the number, 2%. That's 2% of the people that this whole 40-year plan is working for. I'm not sure about you guys, but I'm not feeling too safe about this program. Let's talk a little bit more about why we want to look at an asset. So how do we create an asset? How do we create that residual income? Well, think of it this way. John Paul Getty said it best when he said, I would rather earn 1% off of 100 people's efforts than earn 100% off of my own efforts. You plus a team equals income, and that is maximum leverage, okay? So let's look at some more statistics real quick about network marketing, because that's the plan we're going to talk about next. Robert Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki said network marketing gives people the opportunity with very low risk and very low financial commitment to build their own income generating asset and acquire great wealth. I love that. And here's my favorite statistic at the bottom here, is that 80% of all women who make over $1,000 a year, $100,000 a year, 80% of them do it through network marketing and direct sales. I love that statistic because my wife is one of them. There's a couple other great quotes here. Warren Buffett, who actually owns network marketing companies, dollar for dollar is the best investment he's ever made. All right, so let's talk about this plan. First thing I want to do is I want to get real with you guys. I want to tell you about my family history. This is why I am passionate about sharing this. Okay, first thing I want to tell you about is my grandfather. That's him right there. All right, it's my grandfather. My dad's dad. This right here is my dad. Actually, this is a picture of me and my dad. I'm not sure how old I was, but that's my dad right there. And there's my brother. I want to tell you about these three men. Let me go back. My grandfather, he died at the age of 50, I believe it was 52. He had heart disease. My dad, he was self-employed. By the way, my grandfather, he worked for people. My dad, he worked for himself. He was self-employed. He had his own, he created his own jobs. And my brother, he worked for people his whole life. In fact, my brother, I forgot to say, my father, actually, he died at the age of 55 after he had a heart attack. And that was after he had already had 2 strokes. My brother was the one who taught me about time and a half. And he was telling me, dude, you got to work time and a half, because when you work time and a half, when you work that overtime, you get time and a half, and that means the value of your work goes up. All 3 of these men died before the age of 55, all due to heart disease. All of them died working for people. None of them really saw their family very much. Not very much at all. So you got to believe that when I think about this fact, not one of them had a single cent left in the bank for their families or their kids or anything. In fact, my brother, we had to pull money together to do a funeral for my brother. That's real. Okay, that's real. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not really buying into this 40-year plan. I personally, from my experience, what I've seen, I believe it's a joke. Now, I'm not saying this is not for everybody. I'm not saying this is for everybody. But from my perspective, I don't want to live that way. I want something different. And we're going to talk about that something different. What if, okay, let's just say what if, just curious. What if instead of 40 years, what if we can create a retirement that happened in 4 years? Would that be something you'd want to hear about? Would that be something you'd rather enjoy or be interested in? You want to know how much work or what do I have to do to create that, right? Let's talk about the 4-year plan. Okay, we're going to go back to the Robert Kiyosaki's presentation. All right, we can start as an employee, work our way to self-employment, create a business, right? Create that pipeline, and then become an investor. So what we're doing is we're looking at it, separated the two columns. The left side is all effort-based. That is exchanging time for money, that's hauling buckets. The right side is asset-based. That's pipeline thinking. That's creating an asset that produces income, money that makes money, okay? So let me just give you an example. Now, this is a network marketing company that I'm currently working with, which is called doTERRA. They use essential oils. And right now, essential oils is huge, it's popular because everybody demands organic, especially something effective. So here's on the left-hand side is an example of what it looks like when we try to build our business. We share these amazing products with people that we know. That's the left side, right? We share products. And on the right side is an asset-based mindset, which is where we create events like classes. And we teach people how essential oils work and how to use them and how to get them for themselves. And we allow people the opportunity to make up their minds for themselves. Just like you guys do every single day when you decide to buy a product. You make up your own mind. And right, what we're doing is our goal is to share it with as many people as possible because I believe in the product. And I also believe in this opportunity. So if we look at the left side, let's pretend that you spend, actually I should say this, in our company, one of the easiest ways to get involved, one way, there's many ways to do it, but one way to get involved would be to purchase a simple kit. It gives you the oils to start with, and then you kind of get to learn as you go, all right? So one of the kits, which is the least expensive kit that doTERRA offers, is called the Family Physicians Kit, okay? So let's pretend that you spend 6 hours of your life contacting people you know who you think would benefit from these essential oils. And then you spend, you spend 2 hours inviting them, 2 hours teaching a class like the event on the right-hand side, and then another 2 hours following up with those people after they've attended the event, okay? And let's say 3 of those people decide, all right, I'm gonna get started. I wanna try out the Family Physicians Kit, okay? The total commissions that you can earn by helping 3 people find these kits is $66. Now, this is just one of 5 different ways to get paid with doTERRA. So you'll make a commission of $66, which is roughly comes out to about $11 an hour, which sounds terrible, right? Why would I work 6 hours to make $11 an hour? Okay, well, that's an effort-based mindset. So what we're going to do is we're going to transfer it over to an asset-based mindset, where there's another way to get paid with our comp plan. This other way to get paid is called, it's called the power of 3. And how that works is simply because these oils are amazing, and because doTERRA's essential oils has a retention rate of over 65%. Okay, this is a large money. This is basically 65% of all people who enroll with a wholesale account and get oils, 65% of them continue to order throughout the year. And so if 3 of those people decide, I love them and I want to get started, I want to use these every month, different ones and so on, what you can do is you can create a $50 a month bonus check, which is called the first level power of 3. I'm trying to simplify it as much as I can. But basically what that does is it creates a residual income of $50 a month. All right, now if you've been invited to this webinar and you by somebody who's in doTERRA, they can explain how this power of 3 works. But this is just, again, another one of 5 different ways. But let's just say that you set up that deal. You've got 3 people ordering every month, plus yourself. $50 a month residual income. So if you multiply that by 12, that gives you $600 a year. So what kind of asset did we just create? $50 a month equals $600 a year. Divide that by 0.05, and that has given you, that's basically like you've taken $12,000 and put it in the bank. You get that? By setting up and helping 3 people place those orders every month because they love the products, you have just created a $12,000 asset. that's generating a $50 check every month. Now, how about that? Would you want to work 6 hours to create a $12,000 asset? Heck yeah, absolutely. I would love to put 12 grand in my bank account that's generating an extra 50 bucks a month. So that's what we're talking about here, guys. Pay attention. This is amazing math. So what are we talking about? It's time to hold some classes, right? It's time to start using these oils and start sharing them with people and start hosting some classes or having someone teach them for you. So let's just talk about a little bit more about the opportunity that doTERRA offers, okay? What we're talking about here is, if you look at this right here, this is doTERRA's opportunity and earnings disclosure summary. doTERRA is required, just like any company, to post the average earnings of the people, the distributors in their business, all right, on the internet. So if you look up doTERRA 2015 earnings, you'll come up with this grid here. What I want you to do is focus on silver, okay? For those of you guys who may already be in the business and be silvers, I want you to focus on this right now, because you're gonna feel real good about yourself right now. A silver's average annual earnings is $26,600 a year. So $26,600. That's what they're making per year. 62% of the leaders are at this rank. So that's a lot of people. All right. What I want you to do is go all the way to the right where it says average time to reach that rank in months. The average person reached silver in 18 months. Angela and I, it took us 6. But this is the average, okay? We're going to go off the average. So think about the average. 18 months, that's 1 year and a half to create a $532,000 asset. What do you know that you can spend the next year and a half of your life that will generate or can generate a $532,000 asset? Now, again, this is just average, right? Everybody's different. Some people longer, some people shorter. But that's what we're talking about here. Okay, let's say you're below average and this takes you 2 years. Come on, seriously. Let's say you're way below average and it takes you 4 years. Honestly, are you going to argue with that? Well, let's step it up. Let's look at golds. Golds, average time to reach rank in months, 27 months. Okay, what is that? It's a little over 2 years. The average person took a little over 2 years to hit gold and achieve an asset of $1,180,000. Remember that number? That's retirement right there. And it took the average person 27 months to reach that rank. Let's look at platinum. 36 months. I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to hide that number again. Platinum. 36 months. That's 4.5 years. Right? 12, 24. No, 5 years. 5 years. Right there, that's a residual income you can retire on. I don't understand how 40 years is safer. This is averages, guys. This is the average person right now. Now, I'm hoping at this point you're wondering, what about Diamond? 41 months. Well, their assets worth about 4.1 million. Take a look at how much your network marketing company is already generating. Multiply that number by 12 and divide it by 0.05. That's the asset you've created. Are you ready to push a little harder, go a little further, share with a little more people, get out of your own way? I hope so. So the next one, which is Blue Diamond, I don't have a number for that one, but that one's one of my favorite because my wife and I have decided that we're going to hit Blue Diamond in June 30th. We've been Diamond now just a little over a month, and we've decided we're going to hit Blue Diamond on June 30th. And when I look at $462,000 divided by 0.05, yeah, I'm pretty excited about all the things I'm going to be able to do for people. The reason why I'm here on this webinar, here's the secret, guys. Guess what? At the end of this webinar, you're not going to be asked to buy anything. I'm not going to ask you to purchase anything. I'm literally just sharing this for information purposes. Do you think that I would be able to take time out of my day to do things like this if I still worked for people? Heck no. So is this real? Absolutely, it's real. But the question you're probably asking yourself is, now that you, hopefully by now I've convinced you, you believe this is real, but the real question you're probably wondering is, can it be real for me? Let me tell you why it can be. Right now is the perfect time. I'm gonna have you look at 3 different places right now, 3 different things that's going on in our country right now. Not just our country, but our society. Number 1, financially, there are people out there all over the place that are looking for something like this. This is why people don't want to be employees anymore. They want to hear about stuff like this. These are the kind of people you want to share this webinar with. They don't want to be employees anymore because corporations simply do not value them. Corporations are looking for ways to cut costs. And the first thing that they're looking to cut costs are with people. Can't tell me that you weren't thinking about it when you saw this. And if you think that McDonald's is the only one that's going to look for ways to automate their business, you're sadly mistaken. See the writing on the wall, people. Right now, it's the perfect time. Everybody wants to stop working for corporations that don't care about them anymore. Let's talk about organic. Socially, the organic desires of people. Everybody wants organic. Not just, and this is not a trend that's going to go away. This is going to be a lifestyle change. This is a life change in our society. People want organic food, and of course, they want organic solutions to issues they deal with. Organic options. So not only are they demanding organic food and options, but they're also after an organic life. That's what they want. They want an organic life, a life where you spend time with people that you love, people that you care about. That's what people want. So guess what? There's people like that everywhere, and all you got to do is share something like this with them. Here's the last thing. Well, I don't know enough people. That's a lie, because technologically, we are connected more than we ever had in the entire history of the human race. We are connected socially everywhere. If I asked you and everybody in this room right now to find me on Facebook and send me a friend request, just like that, I become connected with you. By the way, I'm going to ask you to do that because I'm on Facebook constantly. I'm doing a lot of things. I'm constantly putting something out positive and emotional and motivational to help people, inspire people to see the writing on the wall and be excited and be happy about the things that you have to offer. So that's it. Let's go back. There we go. Okay, so there you go. Here's the deal, guys. All of this stuff, all this money, all this opportunity with this kind of program, this kind of thing, network marketing, especially with essential oils and doTERRA, the reason why it's possible, the reason why these things happen is because, number 1, you've got a product that works. Number 2, you've got all the support and the training and the step-by-step, all the things you need in order to be successful. It's all there. All you have to do is make one decision. That's it. One decision. What do I want? That's it. Decide what you want and ask for help. I promise you right now, if you've come here because of something I've shared and you don't have anybody who can walk you through the basic step-by-step on how to make this a reality for you, you contact me. All right, my name is Eddie Villa. Find me on Facebook. It's very easy to find me. You can send me an email. It's eddie.p.villa@gmail.com. V-I-L-L-A, by the way. Eddie, E-D-D-I-E, V-I-L-L-A. You can find me on Periscope. If you're not sure and you kind of want to see, hey, I don't know about this Eddie guy. I'm not sure I trust him yet. Find me on Periscope. I'm married to an amazing woman. I have 7 children, 6 of which are girls. My son, Jason, is my favorite. It's my boy, because it's not my favorite because the others lack value. It's just that he's the one that I get to share certain things about me that I couldn't share with my girls. So thanks, guys, very much for hanging out with me. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. You know what? Let's do this. I'm kind of going back. Okay, so I'm going back and looking at some of the comments. I'm going to hang out here for just a moment. Let's do a Q&A. What questions do you have? We've got, let's see, we've got about 16 people in here now. A little over almost 50 registered. So that means that some of you guys that are registered are going to be watching this a little later. What questions do you have? While you're here live, this is one of the things that I say, the benefit's always in being here live, because you can sit and you can ask questions, you can talk, and you can chat. But for those people who are watching this recorded, you know, what you can do is you can actually still comment in the chat, and I will get those comments in an email. So just because you're watching this and it's not live, you can still send me messages and I can still respond. So Jody says, this is definitely one guy you can trust. You're a sweetheart, Jody. I love it. Thanks very much. Sandra, you're welcome. Leilani, you're welcome. Lane, you are very welcome. Jody says, you're a funny man. You're awesome. Yeah, I'm pretty funny. I like to keep things light. Some of this stuff is kind of, you know, a little too real. So you got to keep it light, right? Sandra says, it was awesome. Lane says, I love you. Watch your scopes and read your blog. Yeah, that's right. There's another place, my blog. I'm all over social media because I'm trying to reach as many people. I'm trying to get my message out to as many people as I can. And here's what happened. I'll just tell you guys real quick. I worked for 7 years for a large corporation, gave my life to that company. And I gave my life and they rewarded me by promoting me 5 times in 7 years. But what happened, I realized, was that the more, oh, Rebecca, you're so welcome. You're so welcome, Rebecca. What I realized was that the more that I worked for that company, the less I got to see my family. The more I grew, the less I saw my family. The more I gave to them, the more I lost of me. The more I gave to them, the more I lost of me. So I started doing things very badly when I realized that. I started self-sabotaging. And it wasn't long before they fired me. I went to work for another company, still hating what I was doing. They fired me too. So I couldn't get it out of my head how much I hated what I was doing. I couldn't get out of my head that working for other people was a bad idea. So I just couldn't, I worked for them poorly. So it was right at that time when I got fired the second time, was when these products and this amazing opportunity was presented to me. And honestly, right now, after 5 years of building this business, my outlook on life in the future is tremendous. It's huge. I'm excited about it. The things I'm going to be able to do to help people, help men who have been fired, help them understand that they're of value, of worth. Help people who are broke like we were our first 6 months building this business, where we had no money at all. We had a Christmas that was fully funded by our neighborhood. Our neighborhood bought gifts and toys for our kids, and they fed us. Our church actually fed us. My wife's parents, they paid our rent. I know what it's like to be dead broke, and I want to help everybody who's dead broke. I also want to help people who have money, but they have no life. I want them to experience that. That's why I share this stuff. So follow me on Periscope if you want to hear more. Sandra says he's a real man, a man with a big heart. Yes, I have a very big heart. All right, Jody, have an awesome day. Goodbye. Jody, I want to have an oil party too, but I want to attend one first. Awesome. You know, Jody, I actually just made friends with somebody in Florida, someone else in Florida. Maybe we can connect and come out there. All right, so I'll let you guys go. I love you. Have a great day. Share this with people. Have them skip ahead through the nonsense at the beginning. All right, talk to you guys later. Thanks very much. Sandra says, my mother is 66 and she just found out she has to close her store. Oh. Debbie says, thanks for the free life coaching that other day. Other pay for? Okay, you got it. Debbie, you're welcome. Can we? Yeah, Sandra, let's talk. All right, guys. Love you guys. Bye-bye.